What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. I'm back with another amazing episode, and of course, I'm bringing you guys another amazing guest. Today, for me, is special because this guy I've known for, I'm gonna say around 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And he's back because, of course, he's been doing some amazing things since that time. When I met him, he was a little pint-sized comedian. You know, now, this man is a director. This man is a writer. This man is a little bit of everything, and you guys are going to get the opportunity to learn what that is today. Mr. Antoine Morgan, a.k.a. the Morgan Brother.
Yes.
What's up? Welcome to BLK Talk.
Yes. All right. So I have to give this man his flowers, right?
Uh-oh.
So in the beginning of my career, he was the first person that really started my career, to be actually honest. And let me give you your flower. I have to give him his flowers, right? But thank you. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done, because at the time I did not know that the publicist that I had, you know, that you were the person that was basically her boss and that was handing down like all of the events that I was going to, for me to be able to meet other actors, meet other, celebrities, different entertainers, everybody. I was able to meet people, and with the energy and the personality I had, I was able to go up to them, have conversation, and say, hey, I want y'all to be part of like my skits or part of my video or do things. And at the time, people are like, what is a skit? You know what I mean? But I'm like, I presented, who I was and what I wanted to do. And if it wasn't for you on some real shit, if I could say shit on here, or
Sure, you can say shit.
on some real shit, no, I have to give you your flowers, because if it wasn't for you getting me into those events, I would have never met the people I needed to meet. And at that time, networking was huge, and nowadays it's a little weird now, but back then networking was like at an all-time high. And if it wasn't for you making sure that I was able to go to these events, I probably would have never met the people I met. I would have never had the views I had. I would have never had like the exposure that I needed. So I appreciate you, my guy.
I appreciate you saying that. Like, it's a lot of times that you give people opportunities. I've been blessed with opportunities, so I'm not the type of person that wants to hold on to it. And when I met you, you were first of all, you were funny. You were a very genuine person, and when those two things combine, it's just like, okay, I mean, I know what you're trying to do, right, and I know what I'm out here being exposed to, so why not give somebody else the opportunity? Absolutely. And I appreciate you for taking the opportunity,
yes,
and doing what you had to do. Honestly, you would have met all of these people just based off of who you are.
Yeah. But,
I just might have put you in a room where you met them a little sooner.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, it's all because of who you are. And I appreciate you for even, 8, 9, 10 years later, still being the person that you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that person is growing. So over the years, you have been on reality TV.
Absolutely.
And this man is back in school now because he wants to learn a little bit more of, the industry. So tell us what you've been having going on.
Okay, so basically, for the last few years, I still do my, I call them short form videos, but everybody know them as skits. And the reason why I call them short form videos is because the platforms on
you need to trademark that.
Yeah, from platforms, all when they say about Meta, we get paid to post now. Mm-hmm. So they're a little bit longer than a skit, because skits were usually 30 seconds to a minute, but now they made things a lot longer where you can post. I think it's almost up to 2 minutes now. Mm-hmm. You can post a short form video. So for me, it's I wanted to expand a little bit more, and I went to do my own short films. Mm-hmm. So when I did my own short films, I took them to film festivals, and everybody always talks about how film festivals are oh man, it's crap, they take your money, etc. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna sit back and see what happens. So when I did, my first film was a comedy, and it was called The Maid Player. Mm-hmm. and it had a little nudity in there. It was a little crazy, but it was really a great film that I did with some great actors and great people behind it, and it won film festivals, and I got invited to the Short Fest over in LA, and hit the red carpet, and won some awards with it. Best actor, best comedy, etc. And then I decided to kind of like, test myself and say, besides, the comedy, can I step out of that genre and be something different?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that multi-actor that can sit here and do comedy, and I can do, a thriller, I can do some horror films, etc. So my goal was to do something different, but I wanted to do something that a lot of people are going through that they don't talk about, and that's mental health. A lot of people do not talk about their mental health, and my goal was to do a film more so about that. So when I did that film, it was called The Sounds of Insanity, and coming out with that film, it was really hard because it was like just me and another individual that just helped me do that film. It was just us two in this cabin way in like the Georgia mountains just shooting. And I was scared about that one as well, and it ended up doing good. It ended up actually winning film festivals as well. And I was happy about that. And yeah, man, it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm going on and on for days, but I was just been really happy about my the short films and the things I have been creating. They just been working for me. So it made me say I wanted to learn more. You're never too young, never too old to learn. So I was like, let me learn a little bit more about the film industry. So that's what made me want to go to school. And then that's when I put myself in for school. And now I'm going to school over there at Assembly Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. So
Man is out here doing it. Now the question that I wanted to ask you,
yes,
when you decided to transition in that moment from comedy to, something more serious, was it something that you wanted to do to prove it to yourself that you can do something different and be successful in it? Or did you want to like prove it to other people?
You know what? Both. I wanted to prove it to myself that I'm that versatile actor, that I can be serious, that I can be in a Tyler Perry movie, that I can also be with Kevin Hart, I can be with Will Ferrell, and keep going on and on. And then I wanted to prove to the other people from like film festivals to execs to just my fans and just people out there that watch my content. I wanted to prove to them that this man's he's a multi type of actor. He can do a little bit of everything. Because once you put yourself in a small box, you're stuck in there. And that's what Kevin Hart was trying to say. That's why he kind of branched out and did other films that weren't about comedy. Because if you put yourself in that comedy box, you're stuck.
See, but the thing is, I don't think it's necessarily the person that's putting themselves in that box. They do something that they're comfortable with. They gain success in that. And then when Hollywood gets the calling, that's where they want to place you.
Yeah.
But it's up to you and your team, your career to decide, you know what? Okay, I do want to do something different. Yeah. So for you to do something different like that at such a height of your career when everybody knows you as comedy, like what was that feeling? Like what did it fulfill inside of you to know that you were able to accomplish that?
I felt great. I guess so. I felt amazing to know that I could do it just alongside of just being an actor and being able to do it, but I was able to do it behind the scenes as a producer, as a director. Like I wore all hats. Man. Okay. Like I'd be on set, I'm like a mini freaking Tyler Perry. I swear. But I'm my own person. I don't try to be like anybody else. I just try to get the job done. I know what it takes about when it comes to the lighting. I know what it takes, what type of camera to use, etc. Like there's a lot of things that goes to making a film. And I'm happy with myself that I was able to sit there and know that the lighting is going to be a lot different from a comedy to a thriller. It's different. It's a little bit more of a dim mood when you're talking about a thriller. It's a little bit, real chill and settled with lighting. The angles are a little bit different. When it comes to comedy, you want it bright. You want people to laugh. The brighter, the more funnier, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of small things that you learn as a film director and just as an actor as well. And I feel like, yes, I accomplished a lot and I was very happy with myself. On the back end of it, like I would say behind the scenes of it, I was more, happy about it. As an actor, I'm like, I'm Antoine Morgan, I can do it, I can be versatile, I can get serious, Women say I look good as a man. Then you got some people got over here that's like, oh man, he's a funny dude. He's so small that I can be funny. And then, a dude cry, so I can cry too.
So you cried in the film?
Yes, I did.
Now,
I actually did.
okay, now let's get into that. Let's
Yeah.
get into the conversation of mental health, which
Yes.
at a certain point in time, that was not something that was even, you can't even touch upon that
Right.
in the black community.
Right.
As a man, hell, even to this day for the most part,
Yeah.
a lot of men are still in a space where they don't feel comfortable enough
Right.
to be honest about how they feel,
Right.
to be vulnerable about, what's going on in their lives. But for you, to do something like that and then to win awards behind it,
Yes.
I know there had to have been conversations following all of that.
Yes. To be able to sit there and cry, I would have to say that I went into like a dark place in my life.
Man.
That's how you have to do it when you're on set. And it was a little bit more easier. I can't lie because it was only one other person sitting there seeing me, cry. But when you have a whole bunch of people on set, then everybody's like, man, that's kind of deep. Like, is he really going through some things?
Yeah.
But you really have to dig deep. So I had to sit there for a minute before we start recording, and I had to like dig deep into like bad things I went through in my life. I was incarcerated many years ago before all of this even happened. You know what I mean? Before my career or whatever, and just knowing that I put myself in a position to be. Even though I made it far from that and I've grown from that, but being incarcerated was just kind of it put that damper on my life. It set me back. You know what I mean? But it made me a better person at the same time, but it set me back. So when it comes to that, I had to think about that. Losing my brother, my brother was lost to like gun violence, right? Yeah, so when it comes to like me losing like my brother and, like I said, I didn't have too much trauma in my life when it came to like, I had a great dad, great mom. It was just the fact that I grew up in not the best areas. And I tell people, when you grow up in not the best areas, you become a product of your own environment, period. That's just how it is. And it's true. Like when you sit back and look at certain things, like there's like out of the whole hood, you might have like 2 athletes that make it out. And then out of the whole hood, you might have like 3 or 4 people that went to the military. Then out the whole hood, you'll probably have 1 person that became a doctor or a lawyer. Might have 2 that became.
Now you gonna have a couple nurses. Everybody
oh, you gonna have some nurses
now.
You got about 10 of them.
Exactly.
You're gonna have about 10 of them, but yeah. So just going back into that and just thinking about so much stuff I went through, and then like and it was a lot of joy, and crying of joy too, of like making it out, and just being able to be where I'm at today in my career, and just it was a lot that I was just had bottled up inside. And it just made, start making me cry, and of course we put a little teardrops in there here and there, but however, the cries are actually real because the teardrops can't do too much of anything. You have to actually have that realistic, crying moment, and that's what I did. You just got to go to a dark place, and you just have to just be ready to rock and roll. And I had a great camera person at the time that as soon as I went into that dark place, they were able to catch it, like, let's do it, let's record, Okay.
So, like I said, what are the conversations that were had? Because I know in a lot of situations where, like, say for instance, I do an interview. I've done interviews with people before where I was the person being interviewed.
Right.
And during those conversations, I became vulnerable about some things that were asked. Didn't know, you never really know who's listening or paying attention to what you have going on.
Facts.
So following that, not only am I having conversations with the people that may be in the studio, but I'm having conversations with people who have checked it out live on social media or, listened to it in some form of capacity where they're telling me like, well, damn, you're exposing or sharing a part of you that you may not have shared before, but because you were the type of person that got over it and was able to get through it, like it gives me hope to,
Right.
like stuff like that. So
Facts.
were there any of those type of conversations following that?
I would have to say, yeah and no. Yeah and no. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah and no. That's
good.
Yeah and no.
So what type of acting would you like to do that you have not done? You've done the comedy. You've done something more serious and intense. Like, what other things would you like to try to like test your
would,
skills?
I would not say it would have to be anything with acting or comedy or anything like that. I would have to say the thing that I'm most scared of that I want to do is stand up. I'm so scared, and this is a true fact, and this might even go viral for you, but me and Desi Banks, we used to do skits together real heavy, and I remember the day he walked up to me and said, "Hey bro," it's like, I'm doing stand up. And I looked at him like he was crazy, like, "Nah bro, I ain't doing no stand up." So I'm like, "Bro, I just want to focus on being an actor." You know what I'm saying? I just want to be an actor and do my thing. And he's like, "Man, I think I'm gonna do stand up. I'm gonna study it, because stand up it's a real thing. Like, it's a real thing. You gotta study. It's like people live for that.
Yeah.
You gotta study. You gotta do what you have to do, and it's a lot that goes entail. It's like almost going back to school. You have to go to school to down there be on on the stage and doing that." So when he said he was doing that, I'm like, I didn't have the time. I'm like, I'm just, my skits are doing good, the views are doing good, everything's great. There's no reason for me to transform over into being a stand-up person. But I get where he was coming from with it, because he's like, yo, at the time we weren't getting paid. At least I don't know if he was, but social media wasn't paying me to drop skits. So for him, it's probably like, hey, I want to make some money. That's the only way back then. If you were shooting comedy skits and you were some type of funny, the way you made your money is if you did stand-up. You had to go on somebody's stage and make some money. And for him, I feel like that's why he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do stand-up. And it's crazy. And me and him kind of like split our ways, and we never like shot with each other again. And look where Desi. People know Desi's name. Wade. You can say Antoine Morgan, they'll say who? You say Desi Banks, they're gonna say, oh, I know him. It just shows you right then and there, like, some things you have to sit back and you have to think. And I should have took his offer at the time and just said, like, you know what, I want to try it too. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, everybody has their own road and their own lane. So he went down that lane, I went down this lane, and I'm happy with it for sure. But when I start to see, other people that are comedians and actors and funny actors, I'm like, man, I wonder if I can get on that stage. And I did. Don't get me wrong. I did do a stand-up little special. And it was okay. I did like one night only in Vegas, and it did pretty well. It's called Up Late with Antoine Morgan. It did okay, but I really want to go on tour with it and see what I really have and really do it.
So from that one time that you did it, like, what are some of the things that you learned about yourself? What did you learn about the audience? Because a lot of times the audience is like a young child.
Yeah.
One thing they are going to be is honest.
Right.
And you may sit there and you may get in front of all your friends and you may tell these jokes and they'll laugh to the top of their lungs.
Right.
Because they're trying not to hurt your feelings.
Right.
Now the real one's gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But then you get in front of this crowd of people that you don't know.
Yeah.
And their faces are just like,
yeah,
when is this shit gonna be over? Like, what was that experience, and what do you want to get from, like, the next time you're on the stage?
So when I learned something about myself, and I know a lot of comedians probably say Dave Chappelle he doesn't have any like funny hits. They say he just kind of rambles and talks. I'm more of a Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I feel like I just rambled. I really, to be honest, I talked about real life stuff that I went through. Like, you know what I mean? And I just, not even made it funny. I just talked about funny situations. And I learned that when you talk about your real life stuff and explain it to people and just, have your, like, your own, like, funniness to it, it does pretty good. But the audience laughed. They were good. I wasn't nervous because, again, like I said, I was sitting on stage talking to a whole bunch of people and just rambling about my life. Yeah. That's how I felt. I felt like I was just rambling. I talked about how my mom used to have plastic on her couches all the time. Remember, if you from the hood and you black, you won't know about the plastic. If you're not from the hood, you won't understand where I'm coming from. But the plastic on the couches,
in the summertime was the
where you're
worst.
sticking. But my mom was so crazy with it. She had the plastic on the daggone on these, like on the actual carpet. So it was plastic on the carpet, it was plastic everywhere. So So my mom didn't
She
play.
believed in preserving that
Right.
good furniture.
Right. So I talked about that. I talked about my dad being like 6'5" and me being like just 4'10", and it's just like we just laughed and laughed. Like, so I had a lot of like laughter about like serious like situations. Like, yeah, that's my dad's really that tall. Of course, I mean I'm like a little bit taller than 4'10", but I made it like I'm like 4'10". And yeah, so I just kind of copied off my original life, and it turned out pretty good, and it did great. But again, as you said, every audience is going to be different when you tour. You know, Texas audience is not going to be the same as New York audience.
Yeah.
New York audience is not going to be the same as PA,
Yeah.
Atlanta. So that's what I would like to see. How much love I can actually get in these different states instead of just going to Vegas for one night. And I'm not going to lie, majority of that crowd was white. They were Caucasians.
Okay.
So a lot of Caucasians found a lot of black stuff that we go through funny. But some people that's black that was sitting in that crowd would have probably been like, okay, plastic on the couch. We seen that before. That's not funny.
I mean,
so
you never know. Now I'm interested in
Yeah.
seeing, like, when you do a show in Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
I would love to be there.
Alright.
When you decide to go to Cleveland, put your home in Cleveland. I want to go see that as well, because I'm gonna sit in the back with some glasses on, and I just want to see how the people react.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something that that I was scared of, and I like to conquer my fears. So by next year, I'll be ready. Yeah, next year I'm gonna go and try to like actually do stand up and go on like a mini tour and see what happens. But I want to be able, like, again, I'm going to film school, and I want to be able to focus on that, and also focus on actually being a comedian, a stand up comedian, and actually like learning the craft, and actually like learning it, like literally learning it, like studying it. You know,
so would you do it like, is it like a by the book type of thing, or would it be more so of a, let me check out this Richard Pryor, this Dave Chappelle, or this Eddie Murphy, or like these different type of people who have been successful at stand up?
I'll say this. I will definitely always look at my Martin and always look at my Eddie Murphy. Them were my two tops. And I will always check them out and just see their way of style on stage. But I always tell people, be original, be your own self. So I would never look at any of them and try to like mimic anything or do anything different. So to be honest, yes, I would look at them just to see how they carried certain things. But to be honest, I would really like just focus on just learning my sets, just learning how to bring what people think is funny. Because as I'm getting older and this new generation is, coming in, what we think is funny is not funny to them. So you have to find out, like, dip into that and understand what's their funny and what's our funny. Because I want all, like, I know people always sit there and say, well, you got to learn your fans. You got to learn the people that. No, like I am gonna learn them. I want my older crowd. I want my my older crowd. I want the young people too. So I want to get a little bit of everybody, and I want my Caucasians. I want my Asians. I want my Indians. I want everybody.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to get everybody. And I feel like to bring Kevin Hart back up, like, took that man 20 years to get to where he was at, and bring him back up. I feel like he's nailed that, to have all different type of ethnicities, all different ages, and etc. And a lot of people can't nail that. Like, I'm not going to talk bad about Tyler Perry, but I'm going to be very honest. He has a niche. His niche is stuck. And there's no... he just has that niche. And it's just like, to get other people to come in and really like him is like... He just has that niche, but he's happy and he's comfortable with that niche. And I respect him, and he does good on it. Right, exactly. And he's good with it, but it's just showing examples of some people that can get a little bit of everybody, and some people that don't get a little bit of everybody, and they both still can be successful. Yeah. Tyler Perry's successful, and so is Kevin Hart. Yeah. But they got the crowd, and another person might not just have a certain niche. So for me, I want a little bit of everything.
Okay. And you deserve a little bit of everything. Now, what's going on with you nowadays? We've gotten into like your background, some of the things that you're interested in. Yeah. But what are you working on in this present moment?
Yes, in this current moment, I am working on a Netflix series. It's an untitled one. I can't talk too much about it because we signed little contracts, so we can't say much. But I am working on a Netflix series. It is a comedy, and we have a lot of great celebrities and well-known faces that's going to be in it. I play a specific character. I'm not like an extra or I'm in there. Like, I have my role. I don't want to say my guy's name, but I'm a certain guy, but I don't want to say his name. And also, what's so dope about it is that the same set that I'm gonna be on with Netflix is the same. It's like it's almost like it's so weird. So I could be on set over here on Netflix doing my thing, and after I'm done being on set, like I go to school, like in the same vicinity. So I leave set and just go right to school. But it's only like 1 or 2 days out of the week, so it's not too bad.
At Assembly.
Yes,
now
Assembly Studios.
Where did Assembly Studios come from? Because I just saw them pop up somewhere on like somebody's social media, and I was like, well, damn, why didn't I know this was being built?
Assembly Studios is, I think they're owned by Gray Star or Gray TV or something like that. Gray TV, what's it called? Gray TV, I think. They're owned by Gray TV, but I think Universal has a hold on to it, because when you pull up to it, if you ever come there, it has this big Universal sign. So I know Universal has some type of partnership in there with them. Assembly is possibly, I would say, because now I know about Trilith. Trilith used to be like the biggest one besides Tyler Perry's. I think Assembly is like up there. It's a beautiful, oh my God, it's beautiful. It has like, when you pull up to it, it has like all these big buildings that look like you're in like New York, and then one building look like you're in London, but they're all fake. But you would think they're real when you pull up. For the sets. It's insane. You'll pull up and be like, oh my God, look at these buildings. And it's a beautiful, beautiful studio.
Where is it? Like up north?
It's in Doraville, I want to say Chambly area, kind of like Chambly. But it's a beautiful, they did a great job with it. And so I'll be there basically for the remainder of the few months, man. Not only just going to school, but also filming. And man. And you're always welcome. You can always
I'm so glad y'all heard it here first. Y'all see me next at the studio.
I ain't like the fake celebrities that be like, yeah, you can come up and hit me up, and I ain't gonna answer the phone. No, he can actually come out.
See, and for you, like we were having a conversation about that earlier, like with some of the things that you have been working on. You know, you've reached out to a lot of celebrities that you've worked with in the past.
I did.
And like, what's going on with that?
Yes, so I don't want to name drop, but there's a lot of different celebrities that I definitely reached out to about a project. I'm doing a short form project all on social media, and it's almost like a series. I could talk a little bit about it. It's a series. The first episode actually drops tonight.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
So I worked on this. I was working on it fast, and the first episode drops tonight, and it's basically me as a cop. So basically, I'm playing this character as a cop, but yes, I'm gonna be like a funny cop, a comedy cop, and it's basically it's basically gonna be like a series, but every episode has different scenarios of like funny moments of when you get pulled over or when cops is coming up and saying stuff. And I'm taking it super serious. Like if you go to my social medias, you'll probably see pictures of me dressed up as a cop, and it looks really like I look like a cop. Like, you know, like, and I tell people, you have to invest into your craft. You have to make it realistic. When people sit there and watch Chicago Fire, PD, or whatever, what makes you want to sit there and watch it is because you see people that look like real cops.
Real life situations.
Yeah, it looks real. So you sit there and you want to watch it more. So I try to tell people, some people just try to do stuff fast and be like, well, let me just get a suit that looks like a cop, and then they'll shoot something, and it's like, then they wonder why a lot of people didn't, tune in and like it. It's like, it wasn't enough effort. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't enough effort put into it. And with this particular series that I'm trying to start for the social media, I want to focus on it being very original, authentic, and just me just bringing real comedy. Because I had to shy away not too long ago, because I've had a lot of big booty girls in my skits and having all these pretty women in my skits, and I knew that was a lot of clickbait for a lot of people, but I had to check myself where it's like, bro, like you're actually you're killing the actual comedy of who you are. You're really funny. And you're making these women that are like half naked be almost like kind of more of the focal point, and you're just like being funny off of them. And I had to check myself. Some people have to come, and you have to check yourself sometimes. You have to come to reality sometimes with yourself. And I had to sit down one night and just look at all my videos and be like, bruh, like I'm more funnier than this. And a lot of people probably go right past me like, okay, the only reason I clicked on it because I seen a big butt. But you're not even funny. And it's like, I'm funny, but I'm not being as funny as I could be, because it's like, you're not grabbing the authenticity of me. I'm not grabbing the authentic of Antoine Morgan. I'm more so making it like, oh, she has a big butt, let me say some funny stuff about her and move on. But no, that's why you have people like Drewski and these other comedians that are they're doing very well is because they're keeping it authentic. They don't need the big butts. Like Drewski had went inside of a, like, to give him his flowers and props, he had went inside of a nail salon and he did some funny stuff acting like them. Like, that's authentic. That's realistic. That's stuff that you go to nail salons and how they talk. We want to know what they're saying. If you don't know what they're saying, you're going to be like, what? You know, it's funny. So I want to start focusing more on that, on being Antoine Morgan funny, and get back to the basics. Get back to the niche.
Do you feel like you're going to end up like removing some of that stuff so that people can focus on the things that you feel are actual, authentic to you type of comedy?
No, you went too far. No, I mess you. No, I won't move it, and the reason why I won't move it is because even though I had to wake my own self up, doesn't mean that I don't like what I create.
Oh, well,
me being a creator, I love creating what I create. It's like I just had to wake up to grow.
Okay.
And be more smarter about the situation where it comes to me being an actor and a comedy actor. It's like, bro, you have to grow and actually give the audience what they want, and not just give yourself what you want and the other people, the pervs, what they want. So that's the biggest thing. So to be honest, no, I wouldn't take none of this stuff down because I never regret anything that I do. I don't regret anything that I do. When it comes to being in the film industry and things I create, because I look back at some of my old stuff that I wish I could take down, where I'd be like, I shot a short film and I'd be like, I did that in 2016. That thing's terrible.
It'll allow people to see your growth. It'll allow you. It puts your growth on display for not only you, but for other people. Because as I'm listening to you now and the growth in the conversation and your experience, I'm like, I see this happening where you're in the front of maybe a class or some sort of session where you're sharing it with, like, sharing your experience with up and coming comedians, directors, actors, producers and things like that. Like, I'm seeing you as that person who is going to be giving back that knowledge to the future generations.
I appreciate it. I'm hey man, I'm trying. I like you said, you got to go through the experiences. You said it yourself. Clear as day, like, yes, like, I look back at the 2016 and other 2018 films I did and be like, man, I came a long way. But yes, I still look at them and be like, man, I want to take them down. But however, like you said, when people do Google me and look me up, they do see that stuff and say, dang, this man came a very, very, very far way. Yeah.
For real. Well, I absolutely appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you sharing and, being real about the things that you've been going through.
Absolutely.
Wishing you much success.
No, absolutely.
As always, like, is there anything that you may want to share with the people aside from, like, definitely your social media websites, things like that, because we definitely need that that they can go support you. But, like, is there any advice or anything that you want the people to know about you?
Oh, man. My biggest thing for everybody is, like, I don't really think about myself. I'm good. Just for everybody that's up and coming, like, actor or anything in the film industry, just be original and focus on what you want to do. Because if you focus on what you like, you might think it's weird, but I promise you, to the world, everybody might like that weird that you just, put out there. And another thing, just giving more flowers to you, man. I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like I said before, this man helped me in the beginning of my career, and if it wasn't for you, I'm like, man, and of course, you're right, I could have met these people, but I'm glad it went the way it went, and you're a very humble person, and I love what you got going on right here. Is amazing. Congratulations with this.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day, yeah, man, you're definitely an amazing person. That's why, like, when you do good by people, a person will hop in your DM years down the line and say, man, hey, I had a conversation about you, and that's how it is. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna come and support whatever you got going on. You just let me know, I'm gonna be there, because that's how we got to stick together as as black men. You know what I mean? And you want to stick together like that, where it's like, if you see a black man that you did business with and it was great, y'all stick together. It could be years down the line. Hit him up, see how he's doing. And I want to apologize for it being so long. But everybody's been busy and been doing things, and when you were brought up, it was just like, hey man, I gotta reach out to this person, and it wasn't reaching out to you because I needed anything.
Yeah.
I literally just said like, yo, I just had a conversation about you. I want to know if you're good, how you doing, and then we came about this.
Yeah.
And then that's how we help each other, and that's how we grow, and that's how we stick together, and we keep, you know, thriving. So, but besides all that, you can, but besides that, Antoine Morgan, everybody can, I try to tell people not to sound all cocky, just go to Google and put in Antoine Morgan. All my social medias come up. The Morgan Brother is my Instagram. Antoine Morgan on Facebook, the Morgan Brother on TikTok. So it's basically just the Morgan Brother on TikTok and Instagram, and Antoine Morgan on everything else, man.
And your short films, where can they be?
So my short films, you can find a lot of my short films literally if you just type in Google and just put in like The Sounds of Insanity, you'll be able to find it on certain platforms. And also, The Made Player, also you can find that on Vimeo. I think I have it on Vimeo.
Okay.
I think it's like $2.99 on Vimeo. You can purchase it. And all the rest of the films, of course, WeTV's Commit or Quit, you can find that on Apple TV, possibly on WeTV on one of their late nights or whatever.
WeTV All Black.
Yeah.
I
All
think
Black,
All Black.
and All Black, yes,
yeah.
and it's also
Yeah.
on All Black. It's on a lot of different platforms. You can look that up with Judge Lynn Toler. And of course,
Cleveland's out. Judge Lynn Toler.
and of course, you'll end up seeing me in the Netflix series that's coming up, and currently a couple other projects I'm working on. But everything that people need to see, just type in Antoine Morgan in your Safari, and you'll see everything. Everything will pop up.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate it. Like I said, wishing you much continued success.
Thank you, my brother.
Next red carpet event that you have going on, I definitely can't wait to be there.
Yes.
I might have to go ahead and send him some more events because I
Yeah,
haven't seen you at any events in a while.
You heard what he said.
So,
Tell him,
like-
and listen. Now you heard what he said. Now
Let me get over here. Hold on. As a matter of fact, I got an event that I'm gonna be sending to you that I'm doing in a few weeks. So
Well,
we'll definitely talk about
Let's
that.
talk about it. You heard what he said. He can't be like them celebrities and say, "Hey, look, man, I got you. I'm gonna do this for you." And I call him.
But
And be
I'm a
like,
man of my word, and I'm gonna hold on to it years later. But I thank you again
Thank you, man.
so
Appreciate
much,
it.
and I thank you guys for continuing to tune in to BLK Talk. We'll be back with another amazing episode very soon.